Microsoft has stated that they want Minecraft to be a game that lasts for 100 years. It's the #1 single best-selling video game in history, and it is primarily marketed towards children nowadays. In 2014, Microsoft bought the game from Notch for $2.5 billion. Since then, fans from before the acquisition have increasingly bemoaned the loss of the game's original spirit, character, and simplicity. The virtual world was truly a blank slate of potential for the player to explore the endless possibilities of their imagination through building, modding, and cooperation. Now it's closer to a pre-existing world with a host of hostile beings to vie with, and structures littering the landscape which often have quite foreboding auras. However, there is a much darker aspect to this shift in the game, especially since 2020, that is not often discussed as it was implemented covertly. Part 1. The Warden, Ancient Cities, and Sculk. In 2023, for the first time, some squarely horror aspects were introduced into Minecraft with the Wild update. The horror subject is comprised of 3 aspects, which all have stark similarities to Moloch in different ways. Moloch traditionally refers to a Canaanite god to whom children were sacrificed according to multiple Bible verses. Though, depending on the historian, Moloch may also mean the act of sacrifice to the aforementioned god, or to Baal, but it's typically considered to refer to child sacrifice in Christianity. The first aspect is the monster itself, called the Warden. It's located in a cave biome called the Deep Dark, which shares a similar name to a Bible verse, and can possibly be found right off the bat after starting a Minecraft world by just digging straight down if it happens to be below you. It resembles the description of antiquities' Moloch furnace. In addition to the Moloch statue from the 1914 Italian silent film Cabiria, and some more generic occult symbolism. From the top down, it has horns, similar to the bull horns adorning the Minotaur design of Moloch furnaces. Its mouth is also almost identical to the mouth on the statue of Moloch from the film Cabiria. Its chest is similar to the torso of Moloch statues of antiquity, which have been described to have 7 chambers to place infants inside over the furnace underneath as burning sacrifices. Faces of souls can be seen in the central space of the Warden's chest. In addition to this space, there are 3 spaces between the ribs on either side of the chest, comprising 7 spaces in total. The Warden is also distinct in being the only enemy in non-modded Minecraft, designed to be unkillable for most individual players and to help avoid detection by it. The player is meant to crouch, which is a similar position to bowing in the game. There's an in-game achievement for crouching to avoid summoning it. Some of Minecraft's occult symbolism is in reference to biblical themes. If the name of the Deep Dark biome is a biblical reference, then the Warden's game design of avoidance, reverence, and horror, rather than combat, makes the biome name, the Deep Dark, seem to be possibly mocking the Bible or God based on Psalm chapter 23, verse 4, International Standard Version. The only 2 officially released videos, specifically about the Deep Dark, are also primarily focused on secrets about it.
Oh, you'd love to hear some secrets about ancient cities, don't you?
Secrets? We all have them.
Including one that suggests that the ancient city structure in it is somehow related to the greatest secret about the future of Minecraft. Shortly after a character named Narrator reads the secret, his life is sacrificed to the Warden.
I'm a zombie. I died in the previous episode. I've discovered something terrible. A shocking, blood-chilling revelation that will change Minecraft forever.
That's nice. Anyway, let's talk about mud.
No, we need to warn the Minecraft players about... We'll never have to worry about leaks again, including my future plans for Minecraft. Nobody can stop me now.
Side note, but the series with Narrator and Marilla has a disturbing amount of disregard for others' lives and happiness for something aimed at kids, with not a single character seeming to care about the safety or well-being of anyone other than themselves, and frequent random violence. Though, I suppose, what else could be expected from a forced kids show pushed out under Microsoft's ownership?
Life is pain, so why not play this game?
After summoning the Warden with sculk shrieker blocks, when nearby, the Warden activates a darkness effect, which doesn't apply to light-emitting objects, such as the souls inside its chest. This effect lasts for 12 seconds and repeats every 18 seconds. That is 66.6 repeating percent of 6 plus 6 plus 6 seconds. Its heartbeat is reminiscent of the drums that were beat at Tophet, the location of Moloch, to mask the sounds of infants screaming from their parents. In other words, they're shrieking, which sculk shriekers have in common. It being found deep underground in the labyrinthine cave system and searching for the player by sniffing in the dark is reminiscent of the Greek mythological Minotaur, which shares its bull-headed human design with Moloch furnaces.
The scariest cow I've ever created.
Ancient cities are structures that sometimes also generate in the deep dark cave biome. The central altar that generates in all ancient cities is composed of an indestructible material, and its design is based off of the head of an early design of the Warden. There is a layer of soul fire underneath it. Soul fire, introduced in 1.16, the Nether update, is created by igniting soul sand, which has the faces of souls, or soul soil, which is faceless. Soul fire represents souls being consumed by fire, and this is also suggested in that all soul campfires in the game, crafted with soul sand, only drop soul soil, which is devoid of faces, as if the souls were burnt up in the process. Piglins, also introduced in 1.16, are afraid of soul fire, but not regular fire, further suggesting that there's something about it that the player doesn't know. Flanking either side of the stairs ascending up to the altar shaped like the Warden's head in the ancient cities, there are also pillars, which potentially generate in a desecrated state, but when complete, each contain a lamp, water, and a sculk sensor. This is very similar to the vision of an altar of Moloch from the 1927 German expressionist film Metropolis. It's also located in a hidden subterranean city, and human sacrifices are led into the mouth of a giant monster to be burnt in a fire. There are illuminated plumes of steam flanking either side of the path to the stairway ascending up to the altar in the movie, heated by the furnace of the altar. This is also similar to the Masonic pillars, which represent the pillars at the entrance of Solomon's temple. Mo Yang stated that ancient cities were inspired by the ancient Roman and Aztec ruins. The first civilization had Moloch practiced within the empire, and the latter openly practiced human sacrifice. The altar always generates adorned with candles. Candles were originally only generated in ancient cities, and are a typical lighting choice for sacrificial rituals. The desecrated, ruinous state of the city, representing Moloch, shares this aspect with Topheth, or a site where Moloch was practiced, as described in 2 Kings chapter 23, verse 10. He desecrated Topheth, which was in the valley of Ben Hinnom, so no one could use it to sacrifice their son or daughter in the fire to Molech. New International Version. Earlier, in 1.14, Mo Yang changed the textures of the most common blocks in the Nether, netherrack and soul sand. Netherrack had what looked like blood removed from its texture to fit Mo Yang's professedly more family-friendly direction of the game, even though more recent horror elements contradict that profession. Faces of souls, however, remained in the new design of soul sand, and souls have been given greater and greater significance in the game and its spin-offs. Minecraft Dungeons made souls its main power source, and the Nether update also introduced soul fire and soul soil. The substance tying the deep dark biome, the Warden monster, and the ancient city structures together is called sculk. However, the spelling of the substance in the game varies slightly from the usual spelling of the word, replacing a K with a C. Sculk appears to be made out of souls, sharing the same color as soulfire, the souls in the Warden's chest, and sculk shriekers and sculk catalysts display the first animated sprites of souls in the game. The only appearance of souls before the Wild update was the faces in soul sand. Sculk blocks spread when a player or creature dies near the block, called the sculk catalyst, and the player is encouraged to sacrifice another player or creature to sculk with an achievement, also called an advancement, depending on the version of the game, for killing either entity near a sculk catalyst to spread sculk. In the achievement, it spreads. Gematria is a method of assigning numerical values to text, and is often analyzed and employed by occultists, mystics, religious scholars, and secret societies. To solidify Skulk's symbolism of Moloch, Gematria connects them in not just one, but two languages. In Hebrew gematria, sculk equals 323. Tophet, which refers to the location of Moloch, or child sacrifice, in the Bible, equals the same number in Hebrew gematria, as do the words Lucifer and Satanas, or the Latin word for Satan. In English gematria, both sculk and Moloch itself share a value of 396, the characters of which also add up to the same number that 3 sixes do, as 3 have merely been subtracted from the first 6 and added to the second. Now the reason for the unconventional choice of spelling for sculk in the game is apparent. The Wild update also introduced the first friendly ghost creatures called allays, which help the player collect items. In the Bible, 2 Kings chapter 21, verse 6 mentions Moloch and dealing with familiar spirits in the same sentence. And he made his son pass through the fire, and observed times, and used enchantments, and dealt with familiar spirits and wizards. He wrought much wickedness in the sight of the Lord, to provoke him to anger. King James Version.